Often people will think that you drag it along and then at the end you flick it like that. That's just going to blunt it more. Okay, so you want to keep the bevel flat, and all you're doing is pushing the bevel flat. And because of the flexibility of the leather, and actually a little bit of flex in that, which isn't brilliant, it will round over the edge just that last little bit, like that, which is what you want. And it will make it polished so you get a really nice finish and it'll last longer and all that kind of stuff. And if you're going to work some really hard wood, then you want to do this a little bit more. Because it will stop the blade from chipping so easily. So that's all I'm doing.
It's refreshing to see such tool care.
Yeah, well, it saves time in the long run, and it, saves time whilst you're working the wood. It leaves a nicer finish on the wood, and it also saves time sharpening it again. If you don't sharpen it really well, then it will blunt quicker.
And it's more dangerous. So if you've got to really push harder, you're more likely to mess up and go through your finger.
Exactly.
Except the last cut I did was the morning after I'd sharpened the axe up really well, so it turned out to be a bit deeper than I wanted.
Apparently there's some American president, which isn't that fashionable to talk about, and he was asked what would he do. No, he said if he had 7 days to cut down a tree, he'd spend the first 6 days sharpening his axe, which I think is a good frame for working with tools. I think, maybe not 6/7, but you want to spend time sharpening your stuff. I think there's almost as much skill in sharpening the tool as in using it for the actual cutting. It's so important.
So that's just a bit of leather-backed wood that you just carry around with you?
Yeah.
And do you affix that leather?
That's glued on, yeah. Doesn't have to be, it just makes it easier.
Quite a thick bit of leather, really. Cow, is it?
Don't know, it's a belt that I got given for Christmas a few years ago, and now I use braces. So
really good. The belt really does actually get me down, just pushing in there, pushing in there. I might do that today, fix my braces up.
Braces, I clocked your braces. They're the ones button-on ones, are they?
Yeah.
I've seen those ones before.
What, are these croc clips, are they?
Yeah, yeah, they rip your trousers up, but they're quick.
Yeah, okay.
So that's pretty much there. And the way I test it, which is not advisable for anyone, is I run my finger across it. Yeah. And in all seriousness, to me, I can I can know when it's sharp, because it almost makes the bit of finger behind it feel a bit drier, because it almost scrapes off that microscopic layer of oil and sweat or whatever it is that we're just talking about.
Shaving your fingers.
But Mike Abbott, he suggests just on the back of your nail a bit grips on your nail like that. Yeah. So according to him, that's pretty sharp. But that terrifies me. I don't know why. I'd much rather just go like that than the thought of it cutting through my nails. Obviously, when you pass a knife to someone, you pass it like that.
Obviously you do. Think so? I can only see darkness, no light at all.
But what I've been through there is the general principle. You start with something rougher, work up to finer, strop it to get rid of the burr. Whether you're doing that with Japanese waterstones, wet and dry paper, a leather strop, toothpaste, toning compound, whatever, it's the same thing for all of them. So the safe way to take the knife out of the sheath, you don't want to wrap your finger on there, whip it through like a sword and have your finger just fly off in the corner. Yeah. You want to gently hold it the side where the blade isn't, because at some point the blade will cut through the sheath, someday. So just loosen it and then just take it out. Passing it, you hold it like that.
How don't you do it?
Don't go, have the knife. Don't just throw it like that. Just go, would you like the knife, Will?
Yes please, Barney, thank you.
Take the knife.
And so what could go wrong here? I can't just pull it away like that and cut your can.
So if the blade were facing down, what would happen there?
That wouldn't have felt so good.
No. Yeah, that would have sliced the inside of your thumb open.
It probably wouldn't have hurt that much.
Well, that is another point. You were saying about sharpness is a lot safer. In all seriousness, I cut myself quite badly on my thumb yesterday. but because it was so sharp, it does almost weld shut. You know, self-welding. It definitely heals quicker for a sharp blade, and that is a promise. You know, if you get a cut from a Japanese saw or a rough old blade that's been left with rust on it and it's got a burr on the edge, it's just going to be all nasty.
Rip your hand over.
Yeah, but if you have something razor sharp, slices through, still not good. Don't do that.
That's the difference between a dog bite and a shark bite, perhaps.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you.